Okay, hello everyone. Here I am, Madhumita Dutta, Associate Professor in English from Vidyasagar College for Women. First of all, I wish to thank Professor Naina Deb for such an interestingly innovative project of considering poetry as therapy. And this adds another valuable dimension to the reading, writing, and understanding of literature. And I'm happy and grateful to be a humble part of this. Needless to say, we are all going through troubled times, and I'm sure we are all trying in our little ways to heal ourselves and the world around us. Talking to friends, listening to music and poetry help the body, mind, and psyche to cope up with the stress which has come unasked to us. So today I'm going to read extracts from Sri Aurobindo's great epic poem called Savitri, a legend and a symbol, almost every line of which acts like a mantra when read in the right spirit and with a deeper understanding. Today we are encountering death everywhere, the very many ugly faces of death. And yes, the pandemic has snatched away from us many of our near and dear ones. For all those who find it difficult to come to terms with the loss of a dear one, the god of death in Sri Aurobindo's poem reminds us, and I quote, "Who thinkest that one man dead, all joy must cease? Hope not to be unhappy till the end, for grief dies soon in the tired human heart. Soon other guests the empty chambers fill." Unquote. Death, Sri Aurobindo tells us, is not the last word. There is a truth greater than death. There is a law greater than the law of mortality. And with this belief, he writes these lines, and I quote, "Even now, hints of a luminous truth like stars arise in the mind-mooned splendor of ignorance. Even now, the deathless lover's touch we feel, if the chamber's door is even a little ajar. What then can hinder God from stepping in, or who forbid his kiss on the sleeping soul? Already God is near, the truth is close." Unquote. Savitri, the Mahayogi, who has experienced and found her soul, confirms, and I quote, "Even in all that life and man have marred, a whisper of divinity still is heard. A breath is felt from the eternal spheres, allowed by heaven and wonderful to man. A sweet fire rhythm of passion chants to love. There is a hope in its wild infinite cry. It rings with callings from forgotten heights, and when its strains are hushed to high-winged souls in their empyrean, its burning breath survives beyond the rapturous cores of suns that flame forever pure in skies unseen, a voice of the eternal ecstasy." Unquote. Sri Aurobindo, the great poet, the great yogi, and the great philosopher, gives us the philosophy of light and delight in the very midst of a world of pain. And he tells us, quoting, "Yet for joy and not for sorrow earth was made, a secret air of pure felicity, deep like a sapphire heaven our spirits breathe. Our hearts and bodies feel its obscure call, our senses grope for it and touch and lose. A hidden bliss is at the root of things. A mute delight regards time's countless works. To house God's joy in things, space gave wide room. To house God's joy in self, our souls were born. Even in this labor and dolor of ignorance, on the hard perilous ground of difficult earth, in spite of death and evil circumstance, a will to live persists, a joy to be. There is a joy in all that meets the sense, a joy in all experience of the soul, a joy in evil and a joy in good, a joy in virtue and a joy in sin. Indifferent to the threat of karmic law, joy dares to grow upon forbidden soil. Its sap runs through the plant and flowers of pain. Unquote. And what is death? Sri Aurobindo makes us see death, our dire antagonist, in a different perspective, and this takes from us our fear of death and dying. And he says, all here is a mystery of contraries. Darkness, a magic of self-hidden light. Suffering, some secret rapture's tragic mask. And death, an instrument of perpetual life. Death is a stair, a door, a stumbling stride the soul must take to cross from birth to birth. A great defeat, pregnant with victory, a whip to lash us towards our deathless state. By light we live, and to the light we go. Unquote. So let us contemplate the source of that light. Let us think of that one, the absolute, the eternal, with Sri Aurobindo when he says, and I quote, the one lives forever. Nor time is there, nor the vain vasts of space. It wears no living face, it has no name. No gaze, no heart that throbs. It asks no second to aid its being or to share its joys. It is delight immortally alone. If thou desirest immortality, be then alone sufficient to thy soul. Live in thyself. Unquote. And when we can do that, we shall defy death like Savitri did and say along with her, conscious of immortality I walk, a victor spirit, conscious of my force. Unquote. Unfortunately, the divine power today cannot have its full play upon the sorrowing world, for it is disrupted by man's ego, by the titanic forces. And yet, Sri Aurobindo offers shining words of hope to us, to our grief-stricken world. So let us chant with Savitri. Misery shall pass abolished from the earth. The world shall be freed from the anger of the beast, from the cruelty of the Titan and his pain. There shall be peace and joy for evermore. Unquote. The words, the sound, the rhythm of these lines have the potential to soothe, to calm, to heal, and give us hope. And hope we benefit from this. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you.